Well, hello, y'all. She's back. This has been a requested video. What is going on with this flippin' mouthpiece? Remember this? Okay. All right, you guys. First, I actually, in 2017, I started off with the aligners. This was Smile Direct. I want to say that one tray out of the month, which you get like 4 trays a month, one out of those four are very strong, like this. Even though they're very strong, it's not going to move this tooth right here. It's a snaggle tooth, and I think that's why they have anchors, typically in Invisalign aligners, which is probably what I should have done if I was going to do that. But anyways, I was able to move my top row just a little bit in, but my bottoms, I would always run into like a problem. So after, I want to say 2-3 months of doing Smile Direct, which I think is great for just moving, just misaligned teeth, not so much really crooked misaligned teeth. It didn't work for me. So I ended up, getting my money refunded, and they were really good about it. I got all my money back. I ended up trying to go through this route. I think it's like my braceshop.net, something like that. And it's funny because I think this was like 2019. I got them in this beautiful sparkly gold. And you have to use the key to turn this little guy. If you don't have somebody who's willing to get up in your grill and crank that sucker, you're gonna have a bitch of a problem doing it yourself, because the keys are small. And even when I used the big one with the long purple handle that you can find like on Amazon, I couldn't crank it unless I took it out and cranked it. And I just feel like you should have the piece in your mouth and crank. I feel like that's like the only like real way to do it without, sorry, I'm over here trying to move this damn thing, without affecting, I don't know, any like slapping of the teeth. You don't want to like have a problem with like, cracking, chipping your teeth and forcing things in there. So, not only that, I found was my problem. I guess apparently I have such a gag reflex. I just cannot have these things in my mouth. Like, especially both of them. Like, I was able to do one at a time. And you know how slow the expansion would be? I mean, this is for rapid expansion. This has the Y plate. This was going to bust my sides open. Unfortunately, they don't do it for the bottom. It's literally just made, you put the key and you crank it. This one was easier to crank while in, but it was still a pain in the ass because, like I said, you would literally have to go like behind, not just like putting your key on top and then cranking it. Like, you're going back and pushing it. That is also a challenge. Again, if you don't have anyone helping you with this, it's going to be difficult. Not only that, okay, so here's what I think I could have possibly done. I was gonna get a Dremel and I was gonna go and just like, shave off to create space. because I felt like it was hitting my gums. Like it was tearing. Probably still have scars. Like a line of scarring, because it hurts a lot when you're pushing this acrylic or whatever it's made out of. You're pushing that against your gum and it's like expanding it. It's trying to not only move those teeth on the bottom row, but it's like expanding that gum. And I had like tearing, and I can still feel it several months later, almost like 8 months later. I feel that raw edge of gum. Like it's the weirdest thing. It like hadn't healed. It just feels weird. Oh my God. Anyways, that was very painful. And I was able to break expansion. Like I was able to crank this like 4 cranks. I think I closed my plate right here. But anyways, like 4 cranks. And I can really feel like my teeth touching, you know? But the thing of it all is the gag reflex and the pain, just having that plate just in there like that and gagging, wanting to gag. It just is way more uncomfortable than the plastic aligners. I I wish that I can just get away with doing that. I would have been done by now. But I have a very narrow palate. The top wasn't so bad. I just have to like move them out a little bit. But anyways, that is the reason why I'm not doing those two things. I just don't like that feeling. And I feel like I was grinding a lot more. I feel like I have a really strong jaw now. I just feel it in my sleep. Just like when you get the chewies for these, if you want to work your maxilla, your jaw, you know, you want to turn into a Chad, these are great because you're going to be on those chewies, getting those aligners snapped in there. And the same thing with this, you're going to have, you know, like when a dog, you put those little fake paw things on the dogs and they're doing this with their feet because they're not used to it or they just can't stand it. It's the same thing, like having this in your mouth, these things, these devices, you're constantly doing this and you're working your masseter. I thought that I was going to have to get some Botox because, like, after a month, I was just like, oh my God. And then I'd yawn and I'd feel this knot right here. I still feel this knot right here. But, like, I, like, overworked my jaw and I feel like, oh man, I got some strong ass masseters now, you know? So, if I was going to continue to do this, like, let's say that this was my true only option, I would have to have somebody be there to crank it for me. And I would have to shave this down because I think when I put my like the putty in my mouth, I feel like I pressed it so deep against my gum that that's how these guys came in. When I put them in, it's so tight, tightly resting against my gum that it's painful. And I don't know if that's the reason why or if it's supposed to be like that, but like I was pressing in. So when you do your impressions, just be calm about it. Don't press all the way down, you know, like where it's so uncomfortable, like you're pressing all the way down on your gum. Just let the putty sit and be natural. And I think you'll be better off. And if you don't have like a gag reflex, you know, this might work for you. I think it does work. I just feel like I don't want to put up with it. I just hate the feeling of all those things that I've just discussed. So, what am I doing now? Traditional braces. Um, I hooked up with a good orthodontist, hopefully. I mean, based on the reviews in my area. I told him I did not want to pull any teeth out. I told him that I was, all of my concerns, like, I just want to make sure that I hold my jaw up with my teeth, fix that midline. I wanted to fix the midline and reduce my bite a little bit or bring my lower jaw forward. He said that I have a slightly convex profile, and I don't know if that's just like the teeth. I don't think it's this whole thing, but maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe that's what he meant. Maybe the jaw's like recessed because of the overbite, so it's like pushing the jaw back. All I know is he seemed to really know what he was talking about, and I'm going to be getting some dental work done because I know I have like a cavity that needs to be filled. I have to have all that dental work done before I can just go and start with braces. But he was telling me it's going to be 6 months of expansion. They're going to put the spacers in, I think in February, and then they'll start with the expansion. And I hope that we don't overexpand. I hope that it's just enough to, get the midline corrected and my lower jaw pushed forward and these side teeth out a little bit. See? It's not a bad smile. It's just kind of bucktooth just a little. So anyways, I don't know. It was reported that I had a 51% overbite. So I guess it's supposed to be like 25 or something like that. But in any case, um 6 months of expansion for me and a year of braces. So I guess I'll be expanding, maybe having gaps or whatever in for the 6 months, and then they go in with the traditional metal bracket braces, and I guess I'll be wearing metal in my mouth for about a year. We'll see how that goes. So that's pretty much the update. I don't know what I'm going to do with this appliance, but it costed like $351. And I felt like they did a really good job making, from my impressions, making this Y plate device. I'm sorry, you guys, I was not able to just go through this journey. I just felt it was such a nuisance. I loved eating, and I hated when I removed it. It was just so painful. And I really don't know how I'm going to do with braces because I'm sure it's the same thing. It's going to be painful. It's going to be hard for me to want to snack. I won't be able to snack as much. Food is my happiness. I think that's like legit, really the only thing that makes me happy is food. So that's the update. Unfortunately, it did not work out between you and I.